Tonight's Lions meeting is a special meeting with Salthaven Wildlife Rehabilitation Education Center as the focus. And, oh, surprise, surprise, who do I have in front of me but Brian Salt himself. And this is his cohort in crime, Ashley. And if you've read any of the newspaper articles, all those great adjectives are hers.
So what I'd like to do tonight is to take you for an inside journey to Salthaven and just show you what type of things go on at Salthaven. And I'm going to start that off with a little video. We're located on a 100-acre farm in Mount Bridges. Our landlord there, Mr. Bill Cisco, is just a wonderful man. He has done a great deal for Salthaven and allowing us to do the things that we do there. And so we're very grateful to him as well. Last summer we had over 100 clinical volunteers that donated over 10,000 hours of their time. Wow. These volunteers are amazing. We get about 80 applications for volunteers every year. We only choose about 20 to 25 new volunteers yearly, and they're special people. They really do work with their heart as well as their hands. They're pretty amazing. And currently we're only able to take about 1,000 animals in a year at our location. We have expanded that somewhat. We now have a branch in Regina, Saskatchewan, Salthaven West. We found out that they didn't have any rehab out there, and so we sent one of our volunteers, Megan Lawrence, to settle that part of the country, closer to the oil fields and the big money too, so we're hoping to get donations in that area. But Megan has done just a remarkable job. She, on her own last year, did almost 500 wild animals and birds that came to her. She's been noted in CNN and CBC. Most noteworthy, I guess, was about Halloween last year. There was over 300 snakes that got into this family home, and the home was, I guess, built near a hibernaculum that was destroyed. And the snakes took the route of least resistance. They travel hundreds of miles to their hibernaculum every fall, where they winter over. And when they got there, the hibernaculum had been destroyed. So they found a crack in the foundation of the home, and that's where they went. And the family decided it was time to call somebody in, and when they were, I guess the father of the family put his pants on one morning, there was a snake in each pocket. So Megan went in and collected over 300 snakes in this home, and it made CNN. It went viral on YouTube and was broadcast in, I think, 13 different countries. So a lot of countries out there think that Canada is snake infested. Nobody wants to come here. We have two roles, actually. One is wildlife rehabilitation, and that basically means we take in sick, injured, or orphaned wild animals and maintain their wild nature. That's a key thing that is on our top of our priority list. When it comes time to let an animal go, if he's too friendly, then we've really failed in our mission. So we want to maintain their wild nature. If we don't, then we've at the very least sentenced them to a diminutive life when they are released. So they have to be able to be fit, not only physically, but mentally, to take care of themselves in the wild. And that's really where we're at. Our education programs are really important too. In fact, it's my vision that one day our education programs will be at least as important as what we do in the clinic. You know, there's that story that goes, an older gentleman is walking down the beach one day, and he stopped to see a young boy at a distance throwing things in the water, and just one after another, just throwing them in the water. And he got curious after a while, so he walked down the beach to see what was going on. And when he got there, he asked the little boy, "What are you doing?" And the young boy said to him, "Well, the tide's gone out, and all these starfish have been washed up on shore, and they're all going to die unless they get back into the water." And the older gentleman said, "But there's hundreds of them here. Do you really think you're going to make a difference?" And with that, the young boy, he bent down and picked up another starfish, and he threw it in the water. And he looked the gentleman right square in the eye and he said, "Well, now, it made a difference to that one, didn't it?" You know, I think that's the same principle that applies at Salthaven. We're not delusional about what we do. We know that there's more wild animals killed on Ontario highways in one night than we could rehabilitate in a whole year. But still, we think it makes a difference to those animals that we do work with. Not only that, but it makes a difference to the people that work with those animals as well. I don't know about you, but I can't help but feel good about myself when I'm helping somebody else. And I think that same principle applies to animals as well. So at the end of the day, I think we probably end up doing as much for animals as we do for people at Salthaven. They come away with a greater sense of compassion and a sensitivity about the world around them. Certainly, where the rest of the world seems to be going these days, compassion is a good thing to foster in any community. Our education program is not there just to educate, it's there to inspire students, to let them know that they really can make a difference as individuals. And that's really our hope and plea. Right now we're heavily invested into an Indiegogo campaign to raise money to allow Salthaven to get into every school in the Thames Valley District. And there's 256 schools, it's a tall order. So we're raising money to be able to do that. And this will be so that the schools nor the students have to pay a penny, and that we can go and talk to them about nature and how important it is in the world today. Not so long ago, the Living Planet Index made its last survey known. They take a census of a broad range of worldwide animals. And what they found was kind of disturbing, that since 1970, the world population of wildlife has declined by 52%. That's incredible. I don't know about you, but that's pretty scary to me. And if we keep going at that rate, we're going to be hurting pretty bad before too long. Some of it has to do with climate, but a lot of it has to do with pollution. And you know, a lot of times we end up hurting animals. We don't mean to, but just by the things that we do, they end up taking the brunt of it. This bird is came to us last winter and the winter before. Last winter was brutal, and the winter before was really, really cold. And something happened on the Great Lakes that doesn't happen very often. Does anybody remember what that was? They froze over. And these are diving ducks, you know. They come from the Arctic, actually. They're called long-tailed ducks. And they depend on fish for their livelihood. This duck in particular is very different, not only in its plumage, but in his behavior. He can dive 200 feet straight down to get his food. In fact, he spends more time under the water than he does on top. And it's amazing because they eat their food under the water. So I don't know how much water they'd be swallowing, especially in a saltwater environment up in the Arctic. But they do that. It's pretty amazing. And they have a voracious appetite.